All right, so we got this thing apart a fair bit. Pretty neat how we were talking about potting the Nissan Leaf motor that it potted. And look at this. Tesla pots the end windings, the end turns on their motors as well.
Not a Tesla.
Yes, it is. It's a Tesla motor, buddy. Nonetheless, that's one of the tricks they did with the large drive unit on their induction motor, to be able to get more power out of it. They potted the end turns, probably as much of the windings as they could, to pull the heat into liquid-cooled stator as fast as possible. The failure in these is what they did is they run coolant through the shaft, and then the seal fails in the end of the cover that goes in the shaft here. This is the seal. And what happens is once it fails, coolant starts leaking in, takes out this bearing. Eventually it gets over to the inverter and wrecks the inverter. But this inverter looks okay. It doesn't look like water is getting through the phase wires into the inverter. That part seems okay. The inverter cover on the inside here, there's a tiny little bit of stuff. Doesn't look super bad, but a tiny little bit of corrosion and stuff down there. I'll clean out, but looks okay. See it, buddy? A little bit of white stuff in there.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And otherwise, just got some bearings put in. This one right here is probably the noisy one. You can see the crud coming out of the seal and everything. Might be the bearing on the other side here making the noise, but I got a friend of mine give me the whole kit from Quick Charge. And I'll be doing all the bearings and everything that's involved in this. And then eventually, if somebody wanted to build a row of front tires on a Rav4 EV, I'm sure you could hop it up to do 570 amps if you wanted. It's the large drive unit, but probably pointless with front wheel drive, right? Anyways, just thought it was cool that I'm not the only one who thought potting the end turns of the windings and the motors was a good idea.